Here again is Steve Allen.
Isles and Stein. Well, bust my britches. I ran over here lickety-split. I would have been here sooner, but my lickety-split. Doesn't make much sense, but it does fill up a little dead air. We'll never know what might have happened if I hadn't said that. Isles and Stein. Yes, you were saying something?
Who was saying something?
I don't know. Isles and Stein are two of the hottest comedy writers in the business.
Well, we were, Steve.
What's up?
Things have changed.
We can't say anything funny today because we
because
have
of the
this strike.
Yeah, we're on strike.
It may have been settled in some of our areas.
Some of our stations, yes.
But
of course, you could say something funny as long as we didn't write it down thereafter.
Yeah, if we just
Sure.
Oh,
that's
okay.
true. I guess that's
Yeah. Sure.
Well, hopefully we'll come up
Well,
with
we can't say anything funny anyway.
And the strike was a good excuse.
If you can't say something funny about a man,
Well, then
say something.
there you go.
Let's call up Bob Einstein. He'll say something filthy. But you know...
So, Herb, have you been picketing out there in
New York?
New York?
Yes. We picketed last week at the MGM, and then this week at ABC, and next week at 20th Century Fox.
Well, at this rate, you'll have everybody covered by October.
Do media people with cameras, TV cameras, still cameras, come up and snap your likeness?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you've ever had your likeness snapped,
It's painful. Right?
Snap that.
But we figured the best thing to do, we figured out, is we're going to just picket the Russian tea room at lunch.
That's where they all are.
From the inside.
yeah.
Right.
That's funny. And then Bob Einstein can come on the show and say McHare or whatever that meaningless remark was. We're keeping track of all these offenses, gross offenses. And what would it cost for a gross offenses, do you think, Steve?
By the pound. You buy it by the pound. So it costs
a little off for the knotholes.
$4 a pound.
You know what we also
Thank you,
have?
Steve.
There was a picket fence.
If we might be able to use
Picket fences.
sometime
White
later,
picket fences.
we might be able to use these. We have a bunch of highlights from the past year.
Oh, do you really?
Highlights.
A few clips here and there.
Ah, good.
Has any of the last 20 minutes been included in that?
When do you plan to spring that on us, if that's what you plan to do with it?
Oh, I don't know. They're just sitting here.
Well,
Sometime in the near future.
Next
Just
few
sitting
minutes.
there.
Isles and Stein didn't tell us about all their new series.
We couldn't come in with anything prepared.
Oh, that's true, because of the writer's strike.
Usually we have a little few bits, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's prepared on this show.
Oh, yeah, right. That's right. But,
Well, I'm not prepared to continue with this.
The only one that was prepared, if I may say so, was Father Mulcahy.
He's always prepared.
He's
He keeps
Father-
little notes in his breviary.
Wherever he is on a train or a plane, he's always writing down little limericks and things.
Yes. And if he's on a train to Limerick, he writes something down.
Well, President Reagan.
Yes?
I was going to say, President Reagan, always, one thing he's known for is a great sense of humor.
Right.
Yes.
And the other night in a speech,
He makes me laugh, but go ahead.
another night in a speech, he was talking about his newspaper career. He did work for a paper at one time.
Really? I didn't know that.
He first joked about being the oldest president ever, and then talking about his newspaper career, said he could remember the time when the editor came running in, a hot story had broken, and yelled, "Stop the chisels!"
That's funny. That's funny. I'll bet it was...
Well,
the president, in all seriousness, has a group of mostly Republican conservative writers, some of them my friends, who supply him with one-liners on almost a daily basis. Bob Orban shoots him some stuff, and Paul Keyes, Larry Marks, blonde Larry, not fat Larry. And he delivers them well.
yeah.
They used to write, some of the same guys used to write for Barry Goldwater back when he had sort of the same job as leader of the conservative movement, at
No,
least.
he was funny.
Yeah, well, Barry had an actual sense of humor of his own, sort of more organic. With Ronnie, it's a matter of he's an actor and he can deliver a line, But there's something sort of Arizonan and more natural.
And Barry Goldwater in a dress.
Now cut that out.
I did a Dean Martin roast with Barry Goldwater.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I played his nephew. I was Bubbly Goldwater.
He was a nice fella.
He's still around. I mean,
we share an Arizona background. And then sometimes because he was so outspoken, he was often his own worst enemy in terms of being politic. He was very outspoken, and sometimes he would say funny things that, at least were taken funny, though that was not his intention.
The funniest thing I've heard all day is I did a Dean Martin roast with Barry Goldwater.
Well, he also, I think, on that, they also had Hubert Humphrey, Ronald Reagan, who was then governor.
At different times.
Different times.
Yeah, as the roastee.
Yeah. And red buttons.
As a matter of fact, when Reagan was the object of it, he did an old joke of mine, and I later found out that Larry Marks, who had written for me when I originally ad-libbed the line about literally 25 years earlier,
we have about 10 seconds.
Had suddenly thought about it. After these commercial messages, I'll tell you
stole your
joke.
line.
Fat Larry or Blonde Larry?
Well, we'll get to that and more in just a moment on the Steve Allen Show on the NBC Radio Network.
Who used to write who were some of the guys that wrote for Kennedy, do you know?
No, probably 100 people. Mort Saul sent him some jokes. I sent him a few.
Yeah.
What the hell is with this equipment?
Very weird.
We're sure that it's only lousy out here. Is that right, Debbie?
Yeah, she says.
No one can hear anything.
Good.
Well, he was probably pretty naturally funny, too, Kennedy.
Sure.
Who's that?
Kennedy, you know.
He had his own quick wit, Not so much jokes, but
just
funny,
responding.
Funny things to say, yeah.
They had one on, I don't know if it was a PBS special, where Sarah McClendon got up and asked a question about the women.
Yeah.
What was that?
She just said there's not enough women in politics. Was that it?
Yeah.
Oh, and you said something, and he just responded to her. He just took the moment. It was like, I'm sure there's not enough, or something like that. I mean, it was just the delivery and the attitude that got the big laugh.
The funniest line from a politician I've ever heard was something said in total seriousness. He didn't mean it to be funny. It was the schmuck Joe McCarthy. He was always angry about something. That's what he did for a living, was be angry.
Let me finish.
Huh?
Let me finish.
Oh, yeah, right.
Point of order.
Yeah. And he came out of a meeting one day at a lunch break or something, and they said, well, Senator, how do you feel about what the prosecutor? He said, why, that's the most unheard of thing I've ever heard of. Real line.
Well, that's the most unheard of.
I've used it many times since, in clubs and stuff. What are you saying? Why, that's the most unheard of thing I've ever heard.
Did you see the television movie? Peter Boyle played him. He did a great job.
Tail Gunner Joe.
Yeah, he did a terrific job.
Tail Gunner. If you ever had your tail gun, you know.
I think his war record was similar.
Or your gun tail, which is
his war record.
Steve Allen.
Pat Robertson's.
Yeah.
Fictional.
What were you saying there, Mark?
I said, here's Steve Allen.
Oh, well, look where that got you.
Sounded like we kind of joined the show in progress.
Yes, we were talking about political humor, and the question has been expressed, what was the joke that Ronnie did, which I had originally ad-libbed about 25 years earlier? It was back in 1951 when the line occurred to me. By telling the story, I don't mean to say, boy, what a great line this was. It was no better than 800 things we say on the show every day. But it was ad-lib. My producer, a fellow named Al Spann, took me aside, and at the time, Gary Moore was big, and Art Linkletter, and Arthur Godfrey, and people like that, who are warm and just folks and whatever. He said, as far as wit is concerned, you don't have any problems. You think of too many funny lines and stuff. And the piano works and everything works. He said, but why don't you be more gracious and warm? He said, you're always going for the joke. And he said, look, Arthur Godfrey doesn't have a real sense of humor at all. He's the biggest thing in show business, biggest thing ever was, because he's gracious and warm. He said, forget about the talent, just try to be more gracious and warm. So I said, yeah, I guess you're right. So he said, it's time. And we started the show about 30 seconds later, and I walked out. They said, here you, Steve Allen. So I walked out, took a handkerchief out of my pocket, mopped my brow, and said, oh, gracious, it's warm. Just to make him laugh. Nobody else laughed in the ways I could hear him yocking it up. So that's Act 1. Act 2, about 23 years later, whatever it was, Ronnie was the patsy on a Dean Martin roast. And I remember the show for another reason, because Don Rickles crucified him. Rickles was in rare form that day, never funnier, and murdered the guy. And of course, everybody was. Those roasts mean you get insulted.
Yeah. We have about 1 minute left.
So he was pretending to laugh a lot because some of the jokes were really strong. And he finally got up and he said, "Well, ladies and gentlemen, first thing I want to say is first thing my mother always told me in moments of difficulty, be gracious and warm. So I just want to say, pat, 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 gracious, it's warm." And I remember thinking, well, wonder who gave me that joke. And later Larry Marks told me he did.
Yeah.
So there's your 1 minute, Mark. Take it and run.
Well, there's 20 seconds left now, Steve.
Mark,
Yes.
be gracious and warm now, Mark.
Boy, it's
By the way,
getting hot in here.
this is very appropriate, this green coffee, Steve.
Yeah, well, it is.
Yes, in some of our stations it's St. Patrick's Day, and in others it's...
Mark, it's the black 7 on the red 6 there.
Now pay attention, you guys. Whoop.
Well,
That's a new one. Wait a minute.
Yes.
we'll stop
The all
for
new.
a message or two, and then we'll be back in just
we
a
have a
moment
message or two.
with more of the Steve Allen Show on the NBC Radio Network.
Last few days we've been using this child's toy for RoboCop impressions. RoboCop scratching his head.
Very good.
God, what is that? Yesterday we had Joe Stafford and Paul Weston here.
Oh,
Yeah?
I just heard
tracks from their Jonathan and Darlene.
Yeah, they're just the NPR did a thing.
Great comedy
with them.
stuff, and we couldn't hear it out here at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a couple, they're not real important. Just,
All right. Gypsy Boots.
yeah,
I'll be darned.
I'd like to see.
Oh, he's the guy from your
He,
old show.
he,
right?
what about him? We wrote a
He's-
letter.
He's still going.
God. Yeah.
Have they done a
He's
current?
31 years old.
Yeah.
Have they done a
A lot of
contemporary album?
herbs.
You know, an album recently?
No, but they're re-releasing
Right. On
all their
yeah.
old stuff on a Corinthian label.
They
It's
should
named-
really do a new one with all the
Yeah.
new songs and stuff like that. Kids would get a kick out of that, I think. Whatever happened to Mrs. Miller? Remember her?
Sure.
I think she's still alive, but I haven't heard from her in recent years.
He had a lady once. I did one of his variety shows. I was doing stand-up, and it was like a Mrs. Miller in the audience, and she responded to something I said during my stand-up. So I answered her.
You mean the Mrs. Miller?
Well, this was a lady like
type-
Mrs.
oh, I see.
lady
A
that was
regular
a fan.
I see.
Audience thing.
And she responded in my stand-up on national television. So I answered her. And then I said, "Wait a minute, I'm being heckled on television." It was like,
Yeah.
the woman talked to me. Do you understand?
Yeah, I knew her name. She was always Celia Fox was her
is that
name.
what-
Oh, yeah.
She was from the Fairfax district. Was in the audience all the time and always spoke up. You're crazy. It wouldn't be that at all.
Yeah, right.
Where do those people go now?
Yeah.
Well,
It must not be much fun to go see Wheel of
Or
Fortune.
Dolly Parton. Or
I haven't seen him at the Will Shriner show.
Welcome back to the Steve Allen Show. With us this hour, comedy writers Isles and Stein, Steve Landesberg, Herb Sargent. This is Mark Simone, and here is Steve Allen.
Thank you very much. In today's mail, we have nice messages. Messages. I get my mouth fixed. Nice messages from Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan
Really?
and Steve Heimowitz. Dan and Steve are going on a fishing trip together. No, they have no connection whatever. Mr. Heimowitz sends me a picture of gypsy boots that he took with his own hands. Gypsy boots means nothing to some of you folks and warms the cockles of the heart of others of you. He used to work on my show in the 1962, 63, 64 period, a health nut, which is an unkind sort of pejorative description of him, but he was the original hippie, sandals, ate raw linoleum, and would rush into the show with a blender, put 19 things into it, and make me drink it, and it was probably good for me.
Yeah, don't say health nut. Just call him a health freak.
There's a fine distinction there, and your distinctions are really fine, Herb, I gotta tell you. I've seen distinctions before, but yours are the finest.
Well,
And you have fine hair, too.
speaking of health, here's a strange medical case.
Yes.
Just
I can
walk
see it
into the
very well.
studio.
Now turn the other way, Herb.
A woman suffered a 36-year bout with the hiccups.
A 36-year bout with the hiccups.
She hiccuped for 36 years and was finally cured.
How?
She was given a drug. Uh-oh, look out. Here comes the yawn.
Somebody snuck up behind
your
you.
yawn.
Stand back. It's tidal yawn.
Title yawn.
I'm the only entertainer in yawning history who has the guts, or the lack of tact, or lack of taste.
Lack of
to
interest.
yawn. Lack of on a railroad. Who has the whatever to yawn. Let the world know I yawn.
And you've been doing that for 36 years.
Oh, yes. Cary Grant used to yawn, but we never found out about that. I used to say, do you know
Right.
Cary Grant yawns? Fred Astaire yawns. Clifton Webb, all these sophisticated people yawn their brains out, but they were too chicken to let the public see it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But you yawn like Gentle Ben. Look out. Well, anyway,
No, there's a lot of... Yes, go ahead.
36 years.
How was she cured, I think was the question.
it was a drug called amantadine. To treat, it was finally used,
Amantadine?
it was finally
It
used.
makes you stutter, but it cures your It's really called amantine, but you can't say it.
The hiccups went on for many, many years and were almost continuous, with rare remissions lasting about 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, pity.
Maybe you could have her on the show.
Well, it's too late now. She's not hiccuping
We'd have her on
anymore.
over a coast-to-coast hiccup, but you know it's an interesting
Right.
thing, ladies and gentlemen. Jokes are us. Wit City.
Can you imagine going through life hiccuping?
Oh,
I can imagine it, yeah. Sad. In the middle of a romantic kiss, it would kind of break the ice or break your teeth.
Can you imagine normal like meetings with an accountant or a lawyer? Just going,
Yeah. No, that would be wild. Like if you were an actress and you're playing Camille in the deathbed scene, and Armand embraces you and says, "My darling," and kisses you, even though we know you have consumption, which is a lot better than tuberculosis. And right in the middle of this great kiss, you go, cut, take 46. It would be unseemly.
Now, do we know what hiccups really are? I mean, what causes that?
It's an involuntary spasm of the diaphragm.
Which is brought on by anything in particular?
Brought on by Thursday.
Yeah.
If it's Thursday, this
must
could be
be
hiccup.
sweet.
It's a malfunction of the phrenic nerve.
The phrenic nerve.
I think
Oh,
so.
listen to Herb now. Come on.
He's just a health nut.
I thought that
Freak.
if my malfunction, if my phrenic nerve malfunctions, I go into a frenzy.
right. It'd be funny if they found out the woman had just been drinking too much for 36 years.
Yeah, Foster Brooks, clear her right up.
And none of that stuff like sneaking up behind or,
That's
tickling
probably
the
in
nose.
year 17 they tried all that
No,
stuff.
this amantadine comes in a paper bag that you blow up and pop in front of your face.
And if it doesn't work, you put it over your head and become the unknown hiccuper. It's interesting how they spell hiccup. It's hiccough and hiccup.
Yeah, why do they do that?
Uh-oh, here comes a dictionary. Look out.
It's like the
Wait a minute.
ketchup thing.
Okay.
The ketchup ketchup.
I lift up the chameleon's book. I can hardly heft.
Yes. Look up
Boy,
hernia.
Bob Einstein be yelling at us now.
Who else would talk on radio about heft? But I just, Hugh Hefner, he might do. What word am I looking at? Oh, hiccup.
Hiccup.
Or hick off.
Hiccup.
All right, you guys, heck off. H-I-J, how does the alphabet go?
H-I-C-C-O-U-G-H.
Spell
Spells
Harrington.
hiccup.
Hiccup, homily. Hogwash. Oh, that's one of my kind
Hogwash
of
is
I
a
love
good word.
hogwash.
That's hogwash.
A bucket of hogwash for my friends here.
That's
Innkeeper.
hogwash.
Holohydral. Have you ever heard of that?
He ran for office in Missouri.
It's in crystal.
Ah, holohydral, Galmaya.
Front, please. In crystallography, it means completely symmetrical with respect to planes. If you're on a bus, it's not a matter. So that's holohydral.
Hiccups?
Holohydral.
No.
Holohydral.
Holohedral.
Heterosporic. Oh, I love that. That means heterospores.
Bob is heterosport.
Yes, I am. Matter of fact.
a blatant Hesperidian.
Just come out of the closet recently.
What am I looking at? Oh, hiccup. I keep getting in these Oh, here we are. H-I-C double I. We said that already. Okay. H. Hibernaculum. Did you ever hear about that before?
No.
Hibernaculum.
It kind of hits you right in your hibernaculum. It's winter residents from hibernare, seem hibernate, any case or covering for protecting an organism during the winter. So a little creature would wrap itself in its hibernaculum and sleep peacefully through February. Hijack.
Boy, there are a lot of words in the dictionary.
Well, you can laugh.
Just the H's.
H-I-C.
The H-I area.
Hickory eucalyptus.
What do you got in B?
Hickory borer, hickory chick, chala, hick joint. You know what a hick joint is?
Yeah.
That's a great straight
joint.
line.
Hey, I don't want
I
to.
came out of one in Tucson just the other day. No, it's a, you carpenters will know what I'm talking about, either if you never made any albums of any kind. Pinus pungens of the east, no, that's hickory pine, I'm sorry. What the hell is hickory?
That's a resort, I think.
What did I just say? Hickory what?
Hickory kind.
Oh, hick joint.
Hick
That's
joint,
it.
yeah.
In masonry, a joint which is made level with the surface of the mortar.
Well, people of your sophistication don't come because you think it's a hick joint, but we have a lot of fun here.
Hic-jacet. That's for you Latin people.
Are you going to keep reading from this? I like the.
No, a lot of this he's
No,
memorized.
I like it. I like it when you read from the candy wrappers better. It's more fun.
Where else, Herb, would you have learned about hibernaculum but from your obedient servant?
I'm going to use it tomorrow.
Could you go back to
Hibernate.
yawning, maybe?
Here it is. Hiccup. H-I-C-C-U-P Hiccup. Then there's hick off. Early modern English. The original word was H-I-K-O-P. It's
Whoops.
it's obviously onomatopoeic.
Yes.
Right.
I don't know what you want, but onomatopoeic. Where am I here?
Night school.
It's akin to or from the Walloon word. Are you hip to the Walloons?
Walloons, yeah, the Walloons.
Yeah, they were French cats.
Yes.
They spelled it Hicket, H-I-K-E-T-T, from the echoic base.
Also a great hockey team, the Toronto Walloons. The Montreal Walloons, I'm sorry.
So that's about all there is on hiccup.
Oh, there must be more.
Well, hic-jacet, which means here lies, as if one would read on a tombstone. Hic-jacet, Steve Landesberg, someday, babe.
Hey.
I don't like it when men call each other babe. I'm serious.
No.
If a guy says,
hey, babe.
Hey, park your car right here, babe. I don't know what it is about that it seems phony.
Well,
If
maybe
he says it's to some babe, then that's okay.
the ball players. Hey, babe, put it here, babe. Right here, babe. Right here, babe. Put it in there, babe.
But
Come
I
on,
don't
babe.
like it.
Well, you shouldn't.
I want to play on another team if they're going to say that to me when I pitch.
Well, lighten up, dude. I mean,
Dudes, you know.
Hey, how about being a dude, babe? Babe dude.
Lighten up, dude.
I think that shade is very nice. I don't have to lighten up at all. I'm not even wearing shades. What the hell are we talking about?
I don't know, but it's all there in that book.
long.
Yeah, if we just knew how to put the
Every
words together,
single-
the strike would be over like that.
That's right.
Okay, here it goes.
Oh,
Closed up your dictionary.
I was just thinking, when
they
they pick it in New York, it's cold.
pick it in New York.
Hey, we're lucky.
No, it's
We have a beautiful 75-degree day.
How was it good parade weather today, Herb?
It's a
oh, beautiful.
beautiful 55
Yeah.
degrees here now.
Yeah.
That's
terrific.
great. I'll take that.
Have
No.
you been cold at all picketing, however,
No,
since the strike started?
no, it's been very pleasant here.
Mother Nature hasn't been a mother after all. That's right.
Yes.
We have to stop for a word or two, but we'll continue in just a moment
Dun, dun, dun.
with more of The Steve Allen Show on the NBC Radio Network.
Having my
Having my
baby.
baby. I don't like it when they call me baby either.
Yeah.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby, what's happening?
Did you see that Magic special with David Copperfield the other night?
No.
Pretty wild. He's a good showman.
Who's that funny magician? Blackstone? No, that not when I said Blackstone.
Copperfield?
No, the guy he was really a comic,
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
You're talking about.
and he was on McHale's Navy.
Oh, yeah.
Carl, somebody.
Valentine. The
Valentine.
Amazing
Valentine.
He used to do Sullivan a lot.
Funny cat, yeah. Dropped everything, dropped a tray.
And now, the amazing Valentine.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was so amazing. Insightful, yes. Delicate.
Amusing.
You don't have an amazing
He
bone
was
in your
funny.
body. How do you like that? Well,
Yeah.
you have one amazing bone in you. I'm the only man in show business who can do everything in show business but cannot do Ed Sullivan. I've
Really?
tried.
Do Ed Sullivan?
I can do other impressions.
Yeah, yeah.
And the easiest one of all I cannot do.
Can we
Isn't that
teach
weird?
you on the air?
Huh?
Well, we should teach
It's
you on the
one
air.
of those perfect bits.
Guys have done it. I've had Rich Little and people say, now go like that, and I try,
Yeah.
and it just never sounds right.
I guess it's sort of
I
like,
can do Don Adams and William Powell and Cary Grant and Wallace Beery and, all kinds of people, but never could make Ed
it's a
Sullivan.
little like
Well,
Sticky
someday
Mouse.
it'll happen.
When you do the other guys,
Yeah.
you kind of hear it and you see them, right? Don't you?
I
You
don't
don't know how you do it.
I never had to work. I tried, and I could do it
You
right
just
away.
kind of think
With-
you're them for a
Yeah,
second.
with
So
Sullivan,
you
I
got to
tried.
really picture Sullivan and then be him.
I'll try it on my own time.
Maybe on the
But
plane
it
to
bugs
the
me because I
Bahamas.
keep thinking of great
When
lines.
you go to the men's room on the Bahamas.
Yes. Yes. I'll say, hello, I'm Ed Sullivan.
Oh, in English. Hello, I'm Ed Sullivan, the toast of the town. You know, on our show tonight, young football player, look all America football player.
And once again, here's Steve Allen.
And Isles and Stein back together again,
Ah,
bigger and
yes.
better than ever. We were just talking about the fact that many impressionists, in fact, probably all the world's professional impressionists, impressionists, team, please, can do Ed Sullivan, as we say. I have difficulty doing him. And
You've
then
done many other people.
Yes, I can do impressions, but I cannot do Ed yet. I'll put it that way. I'm not foreclosing the possibility. But what if Ed Sullivan had been knighted and did his show from London? How would he sound, Steve?
You know,
Sir Edward Sullivan.
it's a pleasure to be here today, right here in front of the king and queen, the prince and princess, and all these wonderful people who've come to see me here. You know, I've been coming to London for many years now, and here I am.
Your turn, Steve.
You bring Topo Gigio with you?
I believe he's here with me. I forgot what was it?
No, that was Senor Wences.
Yeah, right.
Senor Wences.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's easy
Guy's
for
still
me.
around, that Senior Wentz, as a matter of fact. I saw him somewhere. One
He's
of these
still
talk
working?
shows.
He's working strip
Yeah.
joints now.
Yeah.
Hick joints.
Hick joint. One time we did a thing with Rich Little, where he was called upon to do a number of voices, and we just assume he can do every single voice.
Yeah.
And so one bit called for him to do Jerry Lewis. So he starts reading this thing. I can't do Jerry Lewis. He suddenly realized I can't.
Isn't that funny? And for some people, Jerry has come so
Oh,
easily.
yeah.
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 You know, Senor Wences looks great. He had his fist lifted, I heard.
You know, it's a bizarre form of entertainment. I did it once with Paul Winchell, a great ventriloquist and entertainer generally, and a very brilliant fellow, by
Invented
the way.
something.
Yeah, the heart.
He invented
thing.
the
Artificial heart.
artificial heart and
Yeah.
the artificial Zellman, which got him
Artificial
arrested.
Zellman.
Zellman Meiken.
Anyway, there's a thing that goes back into European, probably the 17th century, people were doing it. You lie on a chair with your head hanging back over the chair, and then somebody makes marks on your face. Now, your face is addressing the audience upside down. How the hell does this work?
Oh,
It's called torture, isn't it?
No, you
I
put
forget,
you
maybe-
put makeup
I know.
under your from the brow down if you're upside down, so it looks like your mouth still is in sync, but it's upside down. It looks very weird. They put eyes on
you
your
put-
chin.
yeah,
on your
eyes
chin,
and-
you know.
right.
But they did something with the hair, like they put,
They put a
a
wig
beard
on
on
your chin.
Now,
my
that would make
Yeah.
a beard.
a beard on my chin.
Which would be the top
Your
of your
hair.
head when you're upside down, right?
Yeah. Anyway, I forget the scene. You folks at home try it. Hang each other over chairs.
And by the way, it's a good cure for hiccups too. Forget that amyl nitrate.
And then you wear like a cloth, babushka around your head and stuff.
I've seen that somewhere.
there's
It
probably
really looks like two creatures from other planets.
Yeah, it's very weird.
We talk to each other like that. Big ugly mouths on the side of your face or something.
Now, there's probably somebody doing that right now, somewhere listening to this show. Someone is going to do that.
Could be. Where did you grow up?
Trouble with
Not
Paul,
entertainment.
Paul Winchell's heart, the mechanical heart, is that he has to operate it. He stays with you for the rest of your life.
I noticed he had a crank in his side, but I never knew. I thought it was his sister-in-law. But anyway.
What did that have to do with Paul Winchell, though?
Where did you grow up?
Oh.
Well, Paul Winchell,
He did that
when
on
we
his
mentioned
show,
Senior
those
Wentz's
faces,
fist, making a little
Yeah,
mouth.
the little
Oh, I
hand on
see.
the,
Okay.
It's
I got
adjacent to
confused.
that
All right.
or something.
Chicago.
Or Chicago. Then that might account for the nasality of your
Oh, thanks.
centrality.
I guess.
Okay.
The cold might have something to do with it.
Are there colds going around? I've been sneezing the last few days, but I think it's because there's something in the air. My death. No, seriously.
A lot of colds out there.
Yes.
But I don't feel
Yeah.
sick. I'm just sneezing. It's, what do you call it? Allergies. See, if I snap my fingers, I get words. Look at this.
What are you, Bobby Darin?
I'm daring anybody to top me. I can lick any man in the house. Lickety split.
Well, we have the award for the world's dumbest restaurant this week.
What is it?
Huh.
It's in Washington, D.C., the restaurant 21 Federal. On
21 Federal.
on their menu has this item, grilled sushi.
Yeah.
Funny.
It's kind of like fried ice cream.
Listen,
Yeah,
is that,
grilled
tell me, is that a
sushi.
mechanical delay or does it just take you guys longer to get that joke? What was that? It was like 3 seconds.
You have to think about it for a minute.
It's funny. It's grilled sushi. Well, the thing is, one of the reasons I laughed a little slow is I would dig it. I think it would taste great if you had a little raw fish and you grilled it for a minute.
Why don't you order some?
It's a good idea.
It reminds me of a stupid joke. I wrote once for Louie and I. And all through rehearsal, all week long, I would scream with laughter every time he did it. There's something funny about hearing your own jokes come back sideways, especially with Louie. And it was really a dumb joke. He was doing chef shtick, how to cook this and how to prepare that and, slice this. And he was doing it with a funny accent.
Susie Chepstick.
Chapstick. Anyway, the line was, "Do you know how to make shashlik?" And I said, "No, chef, how do you?" He says, "Well, first you take some shash, and then you lick it." And just the sight of Louie and I's face saying that stupid joke would send me into hysterics. And then I'd be in there for a few minutes and come right back out as good as gold, as good as new.
I think there was that same delay going back to New York. I didn't hear the laughing until...
Yes.
In fact, they still haven't heard it yet.
That's right.
Could you make a tape of some laughs, guys, and send them out
give
here?
us
We have you outnumbered, but that doesn't mean anything. Thank you, sister. That's Sister Mary Rita.
She was with my parents for a number of years,
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she was.
Sister Mary Rita.
Have you seen her?
It's an old song called Rio Rita, if you wonder if you're 12 years old, why that's fine.
You want to hear a touching story that's in today's New York Post?
It's either that or read from the Chameleon books, but sure, let's hear it.
There's a couple that's getting married. The fellow's
Couple
name...
of what?
A couple of people. The fellow's name is Steve Nesta,
Nesta?
and the woman's name is Leanne Dunthorn.
Dunt Horn?
Leanne
If you ever had your
Dunthorn.
horn dunted, you wouldn't be laughing.
They're getting married, and the unusual angle of the story is they met over the phone when Steve dialed the wrong number.
Well,
Oh,
I think that's
all
rather
right.
sweet.
That's nice.
He says it's
I don't
fate.
think that's...
He said it was fate that brought them together.
It's not
Yeah.
touching, it's touch-tone story. It's more of a touch-tone story.
Reach out and marry someone.
He
I think
dies
that's
the,
rather a sweet little
Yeah, it is
story.
sweet.
It's so hard
Very
for
nice.
it's much more difficult for young marrying age people these days to get together, men and women meet, than it used to be in the old days.
It is?
Not
In
if
the
you
old days,
dial.
well, I mean, 100 years ago, everybody lived in Dubuque, Iowa, and
Okay.
everybody
yeah.
was 3 blocks away.
Yeah.
Now they live on the 19th floor, and you work on the second, and you see them going out to lunch. But how do you meet people now? You know,
Well, there's so many
you
places
have to do a lot of picking up. A lot of women don't like to be picked up.
They don't?
Oh, of course, it's a long time since I've checked. I did come up once with a forklift, and they didn't like it that way, but I don't know.
Well, it's much easier nowadays. Can you imagine 100 years ago going up to somebody's covered wagon and saying, "Hi, what's your sign?"
Yeah. Where are you folks from? Dodge City.
Well, I have some mishpacha there.
Bust my britches.
I will. Keep getting in the way of my horse, I'm going to bust your britches.
I had some mispuka last night in a Greek restaurant. It was terrific.
It's a wonderful dish.
Yes.
A big mess of puka. Well, we seem to round
Well, I
that
keep
one.
waiting for another story, another news story. You know. I guess there
From
are
the
no.
corner of Kit and Caboodle.
Gone to that dumb restaurant thing and
It's end of the line.
Well,
the
listen,
rock number thing.
Well, cowboys,
Well,
There's
we've
plenty
said
more
our
where that
last
came
funny
from.
thing.
I guess we'll be moseying on.
There's plenty more where that
You
came
mosey
from.
outside and you amble, Luke.
For instance, there's a couple of new items on the market. One is a letter bomb detector you can use at home.
A letter bomb detector you can use at home.
A company just put this out.
You have to mail away for it. That's the only hang up.
That's for real paranoid folks, right?
Well, you never know. I mean, you might want to use it on your fan mail.
That's, well, don't give people ideas. Today's world is so sick.
Yeah, that's right. You imagine trying to send a bomb to the company that makes this?
That's funny. But if it got through their security.
Well, we have to.
Uh-oh.
We have to stop for just a moment, but
You're
we'll
just starting out here.
I'll
come
see
back
you. I
and-
got to go to the cleaners.
we'll wrap things up in a moment on the Steve Allen Show on the NBC Radio Network.
I took him to the cleaners.
Let's still got Patrick O'Neill here.
Are you? It's a little early in the day.
I know. It's a holiday.
Is this it for you? Are you gone?
I'm going. I have to go to the cleaners.
Oh,
I
geez.
got to have some other places.
Yeah, they're probably.
Now you never hear that
All right.
like on the
Mm-hmm. Sure.
you know, the Tonight Show. You know.
I saw, I saw
Oh,
Tony
I'm sorry.
Curtis once he went to the bathroom.
Who did?
That'll
What's
be in
that?
About 4
Tony
minutes.
Curtis was sitting next to him last night, so
You
he
want
got up and
I
went to the
can go
bathroom.
upstairs and you can
That might have been
All right,
first.
just tell Christy.
I think in retrospect we know why he was going to the bathroom.
Well, that's...
You guys been back to retrospect again?
But
Okay. Wine. Oh, I'll see
but
you guys.
oh,
Nice
very
to
nice
Nice
to
to
meet
see
you.
you.
Steve, thanks a million. Take care.
Well,
And say hello to the
I'm
cleaners.
just coming.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Take it easy.
Nice to meet you.
I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Did we ever do a thing with him ever?
Yeah, well, on Steve's show, he was on.
Oh, okay.
Did-
I keep these guys mixed up. So you're not doing this anymore, right?
Not
Take
after
it.
Friday, no. Got too
Yeah. So
late, late with
hunk
400 other things.
Yeah, big hunk out of the day.
Be great like once a week, I think. You know, something like that. It's fun to. I just wish we would have gotten to hear it here.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that book? Oh.
Well, that's it for this hour of the Steve Allen Show.
Indeed it is. Another hour shot to smithereens. Look up smithereens, would you? That's all the time we have now. We thank Steve Landesberg. We thank not only Isles, but Stein and Simone and Sargent and all those wonderful teams.
You want to give us one more quick yawn? Our producers are Dick Brennan and Debbie Farr. And this is the Steve Allen Show on the NBC Radio Network.
News break.
Yeah. Hi, David. Yeah, I'm between segments on the show. How you doing? Yes. I broadcast from New York sometimes. Here. Okay, I gotta jump back on the air. I'll talk to you guys later. In case it matters, Debbie, my piano sounds loud. I love it, but it does sound loud.
Live from Hollywood and from New York, it's the Steve Allen Show. Coming up this hour, Bob Einstein, Isles and Stein, Herb Sargent. This is Mark Simone. And now, here's Steve Allen.
Thank you very much, Mark. We hope to be able to share a little more information about chameleons as pets with you today. Although I know
See you
I
later, Steve.
have to fight upstream to get that in edgewise. But that's the attempt I am going to conduct today. I'm getting into my stunt clothes now.
We also have a few highlights to listen to.
Oh.
Highlights.
Low lights, anything.
Speaking
Side lights, backlights.
Speaking of lowlifes, Bob Einstein will be here.
Oh, isn't that
that'd be
nice?
great.
What can you do with a phone
Promises,
call besides
promises,
take
promises.
it?